The Rabbitohs go 6 in a row. Latrell Mitchell, he's been in the middle of all that. We're underway on Super Saturday from Sydney Olympic Park, Accor Stadium. The kickoff giving West Tigers first use of the footy, and David Clemmer back into the teeth of this defensive line. The Tigers, as Greg Alexander touched on, too good for Penrith by 4 and St George Illawarra by 2 last start. Can they win 3 in a row for the first time in more than 5 years? Luke Brooks, he'll be key if they are to do that. Now Wakeham, Jareen Buller with David Norfoluma changing the direction. David Norfoluma bearing down on 100 ties for the Tigers. He's posted career 100.
And I thought it was his best game last week by a long way. David Norfoluma only played 5 games, found himself out of the side early in the season, but it was the old David Norfoluma at Suncorp Stadium against the Dragons last week.
Yeah, really expansive set to start this game from the West Tigers. Tim Sheens had already spoken during the week that they've got to play plenty of football against the South Sydney Rabbitohs. We saw an early shift out on that right-hand side.
And the kick from Wakeham goes down to Alex Johnston. A memorable milestone for him, 200 games with tries in it last start. As a result, he ran out and received family congratulations a week down the track, the first home game since his memorable milestone. And now Mitchell goes to the middle of the ground, where the likes of Hame Sele, Davida Totola will look to do the hard work against a forward pack at the Tigers that looks good on paper and has risen to the task over the last couple of weeks. Just here, there's a run by Sele that almost brought a forward pass. It might have. So they get a little lucky there, the Rabbitohs. A little rusty through the opening set. They get to the kick. It's Cody Walker out towards the wing of Norfoluma. And David stands his ground and gets just back beyond the 10. Lara Pitt sideline, a bit of drama, a lot of drama pre-kickoff.
Absolutely, Maddie, good afternoon to you. Just an update on what happened with Tom Burgess speaking to the Rabbitohs. He said that he took a hit up in warm-up and he came reeling out of it with clutching at his back. So in some discomfort and ruled out on the spot. Very late scratching indeed for this. Just on conditions, we've seen storms circling around the stadium, a bit of thunder and lightning as well, but hopefully it steers clear for the game. Yeah,
let's hope it stays dry. Thank you, Lara. Just to sign off on that late change, Burgess out, Taff into the bench, and Richard Kenner is now the replacement player. So another completion by the Tigers down towards Johnston, who again 2 from 2 under the high ball. The Rabbitohs racking up big scores during this winning run. And there's Burgess, so disappointed for him to be forced out late and clearly discomforted as he mixes with his family there. Back on the ground there, 25 metres out from their line through Michael Cheekham. Ilias passing to Graham, flat ball. Well read by Isaiah Papali'i and Blake Taff, just keeping warm after the New South Wales Cup game. Walker holding the pass, now he goes long. Alex Johnston elected not to try and burn Stafford Toa. He heads back in field to safety and takes the tackle. Last play here, the Rabbitohs. Their first big, expansive move. The bomb goes down to Buller, and he comes down with the ball.
They had to go down this right short side, and I thought out the back to Latrell Mitchell was the go. Lockie Ilias decided to hit Campbell Graham with a flat ball, and then they shifted left, and Cody Walker threw a beautiful long ball out to Alex Johnston. We're just looking at Dream Buller taking that kick, put through by Cody Walker, and the penalty to the Tigers now gives them an easy out, but a promising couple of plays there from the Bunnies as they work their way inside the 30-metre area of the Tigers.
Yeah, and immediately, when they went down that left-hand side, AJ, the crowd rose to their feet. They've seen it so often. 82 tries in 84 games here at Accor. Scoring tries, AJ.
He owns this ground, doesn't he? Alex Johnston. The Tigers trailing narrowly in this head-to-head matchup as Clemmer goes hard into Ilias. Cheekham down low to stop the Tigers front rower. Now Brooks. And for Nuabole. 15 metres into South's half. Coruscant finds Brooks. Now Wakeham, just a little step in his run. Beautiful, subtle hands there from the fullback, Jareen Buller. And 20 out, 2 plays left. Waken. Now Coruscant straightens, jumps around and goes into the clutches of Murray. Sellet and Totola involved defensively as well. Here's Brooks. His kick off the left out towards a wing where it hits the ground. Now Papali'i wrapped up. I'll hand it over just a metre or so out. It was messy through the air and off the ground, but it would have been play on. South Sydney handled the situation.
Yeah, well handed there from South Sydney, but it was a really conservative set from the Tigers, and what was their first to start this game. Api Coruscant caught at the 7 position a couple of times. Jareen Buller at hooker. They'll need to be better if they want to penetrate the South Sydney line.
What about the form of this man this season? Campbell Graham. One of South Sydney's best. There's another. Cody Walker on to Jacob Host.
Well, Campbell Graham's form is a big reason why Souths are a better attacking side than they were last year, because it's the right side that have aimed up. They've become dangerous, and Campbell Graham scoring 11 tries down this side of the field has been, well, it's been great for South Sydney.
Jason Demetriou will like what he's seen over the last 5 weeks especially. Here's Cody Walker. Was he just inside the 40 looking for a 40-20? The kick straightens. Norfoluma gets back, throws a flat pass for Buller. And here's this young talent up beyond his 10-metre line.
Yeah, it mightn't have found touch, Matty, but any time you can kick from the other side of halfway and find the in-goal area, which that one did, Norfoluma picking it up just inside the in-goal area, is a great kick. And puts South in a terrific spot now to put a bit of pressure on this Tigers attack.
Brandy, you mentioned, as South Sydney defend here, you mentioned their attack a moment ago. This 5-game winning streak have outscored their opponents 166 to 66. So 100 points to the good. That's the assignment for the Tigers today. To negate that point-scoring domination, mixed in with some really good defence as well. Here they are through the middle of the ground. Host in there defensively, Cook and Graham. And the Tigers only just into South territory as they get to the kick. Brooks high, across the ground, out towards Tane Milne. And Milne wrapped up by Papali'i initially. Brooks build on what he's done over the last fortnight as Graham runs into some stiff treatment.
That was Luke Brooks underneath there. That was a hard hit there from the halfway. That's good defence. Latrell just having to pull up on his run. He goes in behind Alex Johnston. Watch Brooks underneath. And Tommy Talau, Stafford Tower over the top. Tommy Talau.
Murray passing at the line. Ilias goes flat. Cheek cam can't pull his way clear of the tackle from Brooks again. And now off the left foot, Walker across the ground towards Norfoluma.
Yeah, they're looking really dangerous out on the edges. They had an opportunity to go out the back there, South Sydney Rabbitohs, and had them beat for numbers. Just played the short man early.
Yeah, I think they've missed a couple of chances.
Absolutely.
Now, South Sydney, especially down this right side. They've opted to go to the flat runner instead of out the back where they had the Tigers shot to bits.
Let's see if they make that adjustment in coming sets. Here's Tommy Talau. Just his 6th game of the season after getting back from that broken nose. And Stefano Utoikamanu. Backed up by Clemmer here. Building their set through the middle. But again, tackle 5 taken right on halfway. Brooks gets the kick, cross the ground, the same target. It's Tane Milne on the right wing for the Rabbitohs. And Tane is trapped on his 20-metre line. You hear so many elite halfbacks say the best way to get into a game, to build your game as a number 7, is to concentrate on the basics, to make your early tackles, defend well. Luke Brooks doing that in the opening minutes here. Host. Now Murray. This time it's out the back for Graham, but up quickly around the legs. Good tackle. Tommy Talau. Ilias back inside for Graham. Cheekam. Hard into Utoikamanu.
Nice
and
offload.
Bolle, but an offload for Murray. Another pass for Totola, who says, get out of my way, Brooks, but Luke comes back and goes around the legs this time. Wise choice on the front foot, the Rabbitohs. The kick looking for Cody Walker, but above them all, Jareem Buller wins the ball.
Yeah, South Sydney Rabbitohs just starting to find some inroads. They've had a couple of opportunities. We see the replay there, Totola. Very, very good front rower. Gets him on the front foot and disperses of Brooks very easily.
He came again, but Luke Brooks. And Jareem Buller, what he did in Bathurst against the Panthers, Nathan Cleary throwing up the high ball all night in wet conditions. And he swallowed everything. He's been very good. Started the game well. Couple of high kicks. That one a little more difficult than the first, but handled it beautifully.
The first 10 minutes gone. A perfect start from both teams. 11 from 11 combined on the completion front as this kick goes down towards the sideline. It's a good one. Brooks does the job again. And Tim Sheens.
He'll be pretty happy with what he's seen in the opening exchanges from his side. Really important that they're able to go with South Sydney early in this game. Both Utoi Kamanu and Clemmer have started really strong in the middle.
Well, importantly for the West Tigers, they've been very good in the last 3 matches. Even going back to the Manly game in round 8, I thought that was definitely a sign from Utoi Kamanu that he'd found a bit of fault because it was missing early in the season. We know what sort of potential Stefano has, but both him and Clemmer have been great over the last 3 rounds.
This carry by Host after the first run from Isaiah Tass. So can West Tigers apply some defensive pressure here, or do the Rabbitohs get out comfortably? There's your answer, Cody Walker, with a good run, threatening to slide between 2 defenders there.
Lucky to get away with that one there, Brooks.
Feigning he was tangled in the tackle, slowing it down. Could have easily been a penalty as Hame Selet takes the tackle. Murray, heavy contact from Utoi Kamanu. Walker across the ground again towards Norfoluma. And this veteran winger hasn't put a foot wrong so far. Back to his 20-metre line. So they're going set for set, nearly 13 minutes into this one now.
Well, we saw in the opening set of the game, the Tigers had a shift out of that right-hand side and looked to play a little bit of expansive. Since then, they've just been happy to roll the sleeves up and go set for set with the Rabbitohs.
Brooks, quick hands, opens up momentarily, but they couldn't find a way to feed Junior Tupou. Tommy Talau was trapped with the ball. Here's Papali'i trying to steamroll Cameron Murray. He won't do that too often. Now Brooks kicks and chases hard down to the corner. He keeps it on the ground, and Latrell Mitchell to think momentarily about a long ball over to Johnston. Instead, he takes the tackle. It was that round 5 loss to Melbourne where he was criticised for not getting involved early enough or often enough, and since then they're unbeaten, and he's been in the thick of much of it. Tass, the first penalty, or the second penalty of the game, in fact, goes to South Sydney. 1-1 on that front.
Yeah, no coincidence, Matty, what you just mentioned about Latrell Mitchell, and that was the case early in the season. Waiting too long to make his mark and put his stamp on the game, and they only won 2 out of their opening 5, although the 3 losses were narrow losses against quality teams. But Latrell getting himself involved in the game earlier on in the piece certainly has produced the goods for Souths over the last month and a bit.
Here's Totola. South Sydney happy to have him back. Just his 6th game of the campaign. Here's Sele again, running very flat, inviting trouble. Hame Sele a couple of times early in this first half. And a set restart here. Campbell Graham armed with a set restart and good go forward post contact. He dragged Tommy Talau for a while there. Ilias to Murray, now Walker. Here's Mitchell. Mitchell with the grubber early in the set. They'll get the ball back. David Nofaluma taking no chances.
Well, so often we've seen that lethal left-hand side come up with points. The Tigers repel Mitchell off the boot. He wanted to pass it long to AJ, was out in the position there. Handled nicely from the Tigers. And for the first of the game, the back-to-back repeat sets.
So for the first time, the team is able to build some pressure on the opponent, although the short goal line dropout from Wakeham goes towards Campbell Graham. It was off the Tigers. It was Junior Tupou slapping at the ball. Didn't matter. South Sydney got it back anyway, and Chee-Cam angles play towards the middle of the ground. In fantastic position, South Sydney with their effective left-hand side wide open, and another set restart.
Numbers left here.
They go that way now. Walker, Mitchell tries to jump away from Tor. Instead it's a flick offload. Walker, Alex Johnston, well handled by Bateman and Nofaluma. Walker. Here's Hame Sele. Coruscant down low to stop the forward movement. Cook brings it back to the right. Murray goes low. Forced to ground almost immediately by Buller, and importantly so, a long ball from Cook. Now Mitchell. Isaiah Tass can't bump his way clear from Wakeham. And over the top to make sure of that. Final play. The Tigers handling this well so far. One more tackle to navigate. The kick from Ilias, high across the ground, beautiful in the air. Tommy Talau, hands above his head, ball in his grasp.
He's been great defensively, Tommy Talau, and then comes up with a good save there. Got his body position. Campbell Graham coming through, just really couldn't have a crack at the ball. Great stuff from the Tigers, under pressure.
Yeah,
and
excellent
survived.
goal line defence, Brandy. They had back-to-back sets. There was plenty thrown at them. They didn't panic. Their line speed was terrific. Really good confidence booster.
These teams were 1-1 head-to-head last season. A Luke Brooks field goal got the Tigers home round 7. Round 12, Alex Johnston with a hat-trick. Cody Walker with a double. Gave the Bunnies a big win. But 1-1 last season as Brooks drives it long, high, down to Johnston. And Alex back beyond his 20 towards the middle of the ground. Hoping to set this set up.
Notice Stefano Uto Ikamanu on the sidelines now, so his first stint is done. Joe Offahengawi on for the Tigers.
Relatively early change. Here's Jai Arrow. Fresh onto the field for Jason Demetriou. Hame Sele has a breather. Last play for Cody to put it in the air. Again, it's out towards Nofaluma. Buller instead just falls in behind his winger, makes the catch, and he's pinned in his own 10-metre zone by a chasing Damien Cook, assisted by Lachlan Ilias.
It's been an area that South Sydney have been so good at over the last 5 weeks. The kicking game of both Ilias and Walker, asking the teams to come out of their own end, making it really difficult.
Off there now, eh? A bear hug by Tatola. Coruscant to Clemmer, who passes this time. And for Nuabole. Now the kick from Wakeham. Again, it's high down towards Johnson. So the kicks have been pretty much the same from both teams so far, predominantly towards Johnston and predominantly towards Nofaluma, both playing on the eastern side of the ground.
Well, that's a good set from the Tigers, and they did well. The chase team were great. They forced Alex Johnston inside his own 10. Just a little win there for the West Tigers after South dominating field position.
Campbell Graham with his 6th run of the game. A good go-forward charge. Arrow, Walker, and now Tass under pressure because Nofaluma had raced up. Got his man, assisted by Bateman. Bateman, that late scratching at Magic Round because of a mild hamstring scare. Just repeating, if you've joined us late, Tom Burgess forced out of this game really late in the warm-up with a back complaint. So Blake Taff onto the bench, having played all of the previous game in the New South Wales Cup. Ty staying warm after his earlier outing. Blake Taff, very good over the last few weeks for the Rabbitohs reserve graders.
Yeah, with Liam Knight returning last week, Matty, they've still got a strong bench, don't they? With Jai Arrow, Liam Knight, Jed Cartwright. Cartwright can fill a spot. Doesn't matter. Cartwright can play anywhere. Middle, edge, in the centres, depending on what Demetrio needs of him this afternoon.
Papali'i well handled by Ilias. Here's the last play, and Brooks goes across the ground. Won't be played at by South Sydney. It is played at by the Tigers. It was a game of soccer momentarily. What was David Norfoluma trying to do there? Well, the kick surprised everybody. It wasn't towards anyone in particular. And in the end, David Norfoluma thought, I'll just have a crack at this and see what happens. Playing for Leichhardt United, not West Tigers. Cook. Ilias. Cheek cam runs into a shoulder. A really good shot from Tommy Talau, who gets the result and celebrates on the end of it.
You talk about energy, and they needed something there, the Tigers. They've been under assault in terms of their own, coming out of their own half, and Tommy Talau puts an end to that with an absolute corker on Cheekham.
Well, the kick wasn't great from the West Tigers, and Matty, you just spoke about David Norfoluma and what sort of play that was. Got his foot to the ball, so it ended up being a good start field position-wise for South Sydney to their set. And Tommy Talau, who's come up with some big defence so far this afternoon, come up with some big plays, actually. Tommy Talau just drills Cheekham, turnover. Cam Murray on the bench now.
Yeah, I've just been watching Cam Murray over the last 5 minutes. He looks out on his feet now. I know Cam Murray plays that way, but not this early. That was a forward pass. Line ball at best. Cam Murray might be a little bit under the weather. He might have a bit of the flu. But he doesn't look quite himself in regards to his fitness.
I'm sure Lara will be all over that and letting us know whether it's just a regulation breather or there's something more at play. Big play there from West Tigers, who hope to cash in after the first mistake of the game. 21 minutes in, we get our first error, and this man forced it. Tommy Talau, a really strong tackle to knock the ball free. Now Brooks, Clemmer, thought about passing and went to his trademark, straight and hard. Coruscant feigned a kick, finds his halfback. Now Papali'i. Isaiah fending and spinning. He could still offload. What a stubborn performance that was. He takes tackle 5 eventually. And Brooks across the ground didn't get it as he would have liked to Norfoluma. He throws it back. Buller, brilliant pickup. Full stretch. What's Wakeham going to do? He doesn't know. On the first bounce, Brooks, let's kick to the other side of the ground, out towards the wing of Milne, up above them. Tane taken in the air, and that'll be a penalty to South Sydney.
I don't think at training they ever went through a sequence with what we just saw there from the West Tigers. Not sure what they were doing. In the end, they got it back to Brooks after going to one side of the field, back to the other. Brooks gets a kick, which was, would have rescued the set, but they just don't get the defensive play right and make a tackle in mid-air, so it just removed anything good that happened through that period.
Well, it's been a real issue for the Tigers in season 23, scoring points, particularly when they're down that area. And it's their second time they were able to set up camp inside 20 and unable to come up with anything or any decent shape that was going to worry the South Sydney Rabbitohs.
Well, we spoke about pre-game. What's the difference between their narrow losses and their wins in the last couple of weeks? They've taken their chances over the last couple of weeks against the Panthers and the Dragons, and they're the sort of situations that they got right in the last 2 weeks.
Just an update on Cam Murray. They're saying he copped a knock to the throat. He was battling with it out there. The doc says he's okay and he'll be back in this matchup soon enough.
Thank you, Lara.
That'd explain it, Daddy.
Absolutely. And now there's a problem for Jai Arrow, He's straight back to his feet. Also taking deep breaths for obvious reasons, given where he took that knock. And South Sydney in great position again. The ball to Campbell Graham, and now over Tane Milne. Scores the first try of the game. The inside touches were perfect, and the right winger, Tane Milne, bounces in first for the Bunnies.
44th try for the season for South Sydney. And it has taken them a while, hasn't it? Today, the Tigers are up for the game this afternoon. But 20 tries now down this right side. That was unheard of in the last few seasons. South mightn't have scored that many tries down there for the whole season, but 11 rounds in now, and Campbell Graham pushes the ball on to Tane Milne. And it's players like Tane Milne and Cheekham, who are filling spots for injured players, are another reason why this team is better than they were last year. They're doing great jobs. Those players that are coming into the side, Tane Milne only playing his sixth game, and it took Cody Walker to jump from the left to the right to make it happen, Corey. Yeah,
it was great to see Cody Walker and Latrell Mitchell, who's a fair decoy runner and obviously attracts a fair bit of attention from a defensive point of view. They went across the front of Latrell Mitchell to Campbell Graham, which then created the overlap. But predominantly we see those two individuals lurking down the left-hand side. This time they swing out to the right and they come up with success.
Latrell Mitchell from this western sideline, only a couple of metres inside. Can he take full advantage? It's beautiful. We saw him mic'd up at training, kicking in the pre-game show. There's a perfect example of what he was doing during the week, applied in the game. And Tane Milne, Fijian international, Clovelly Crocodile, ex-Dragon Warrior and Rabbitoh for the last 3 years. 10 tries last season. There's his first of 2023, Tane Milne.
Yeah, did a good job to pull it in too, because the defence was up in their face there for South Sydney. The ball players did a great job to actually catch, deliver the pass, and Tane Milne just had to drag that one in. For a player that grew up playing no left and right, so I sometimes am staggered when we speak about the left and rights. You know, why doesn't Cody Walker play both sides of the field all the time?
Nice run from Jai Arrow coming out of trouble. Papali'i went for a shot.
Backed up here by Tatola. Look at this go forward. Davida Tatola. So the set after they score the game's opening try, so far so good, maybe better than good. And that's the sort of defence required as Cheekham tried to wind up. Arrow to Walker. Keeps you guessing right until he gets to the line. Isaiah Tass taken by Stafford Toa. So they've come the best part of 70 metres. And there's the kick from Ilias. Buller, no troubles with that. 12 and a half left in the opening period. 6-0 South Sydney. Norfoluma.
Come on, top.
So Liam Knight there, you can see him into the action now.
Mate, you slowed it down, we're going to
Returns from that long layoff after the horrible knee injury through reserve grade in Wagga Wagga. Returned to the NRL last week with some very, very sound numbers, and here he is in game number 2 of his NRL comeback. Oh, big treatment there.
Hands off, Michael.
Kent Murray likes that defensive effort, so he's cleared that throat knock that Lara reported and about to return to the action. Wakeham looking for the grasp, but finding the chest of Alex Johnston. And AJ greeted by Bateman. The Tigers, for most of the first half, have been in the grind. They're off back-to-back wins, though they're trailing on the scoreboard, but it's an encouraging start by the underdogs, isn't it?
Yeah, well, we spoke to Tim Sheens in the pre-game, and he mentioned about exactly that, just being able to stay with South Sydney, doing the little things really well. As now South out the left-hand side, Matty.
Yeah, Tass looking for a tip on to Johnson. Instead, he tips it on to the sideline. So the attack breaks down to the left, and that's the result that Tim Sheens is looking for, staying in the grind, applying some pressure, and now feeding on how many errors they get from South Sydney.
Very little margin for error in those tap-ons, and Isaiah Tass just getting that one wrong. Didn't seem like there was any chance of it finding Alex Johnston, and the Tigers start their set round halfway, which is good for them.
Brooks, the inside play, finding Alex Twal. Offing Ngawe, driven backwards, greeted by Murray and Knight. Papali'i. Isaiah standing for a long time before Ilias goes over the top. She came down low. Twal again with the body through the line, looking for a support player. No one there. He takes tackle 5. And Coruscant to Wakem, who whips the pass back for Brooks. The inside ball. Buller flicks it out. Twal back onto Coruscant. Here's Wakem. Plenty of ball movement. Bateman straightens. Bateman goes on. Toa only just held the ball. Flicked it out the back. Now Norfoluma toes it. Picks up. Goes again. The second kick. And Mitchell says, let's shut it down right here.
Brilliant from Latrell there. It looked like the ball might have been able to get past him. The kick from David Norfoluma, a tough one to handle, but Latrell dragged it in on his try line to save what was a dangerous situation. Down low, awkward bounce, juggling it, Latrell. Very good.
That's their second set like that, where they thought we'll just kick and toe and scramble as best we can and hope that something comes from it.
Well, when the ball went out to John Bateman, that's where John Bateman is at his dangerous. Unpredictable, good footwork, but threw a pass that was too low for Stafford Toa.
And again, just a concern when they get into good ball. It's another nice kick down field. When the Tigers get into good ball, they don't really look like they know what they're going to come up with. It's an ad hoc play at best. Well handled.
Now a pass over the head of Buller.
There's an air of confusion about the Tigers when they get inside the 20.
And now it's lost. Junior Tupou didn't expect the ball. Certainly didn't expect to lose it in the tackle. And luckily for he and the Tigers, there's been a knock on from South Sydney after the initial infringement from Junior Tupou here.
There was a little bit of tunnel ball here from Ilias trying to get things underway. Was there a hand involved there? Maybe. Just went tunnel ball straight away. Was able to get knocked down. And great field position here for South. There's no better team in the competition that loves set starts as Api Coruscant has a rest on the bench.
So no challenge. We'll never know whether the bunker would have deemed that to be a stripping motion or a poor carry. It's South Sydney's ball in good position again. Ilias, Walker, they're running here. Alex Johnston on the end of the Walker pass. Again, he was running out of room and he's shut down by Wakem and Toa. Mitchell for Walker. He brings Knight onto the ball. He gets it out the back for Damien Cook around his toes. You're right, Corey. Great pickup. And now Murray buried a couple of metres out. Cook to G-Cam, the crash play. And look at Joe off and now he's celebrating the contact, celebrating the tackle, and celebrating the denial of South Sydney.
Yeah, it was little Luke Brooks. He's put his head in the place today. Comes up with a huge play for his team. It was a late offload, brilliant pickup from Damien Cook. Then off the back of that, they just go the crash, bang, wallop, short ball. And Brooks has been superb in this opening half defensively. Comes up with an error on Cheekham.
Hasn't he been good? 14 tackles for Luke Brooks. And really stung a couple of the South Sydney players that he's hit.
14 tackles, just the one miss. In fact, it's 15 for only the one miss. Not only has he made the tackles, they've been often demonstrative defensive efforts. Now Norfoluma sinking on to give Api Coruscant a breather. And there he is at dummy half. Stafford Toa, the former Newcastle Knights. Bateman. see the band around that hamstring that gave him some grief last week. Brooks, long pass, 2-on-1, opens up momentarily. Tommy Talau didn't get the pass for Tupou. And they'll go back towards open play through Alex Twal, careering over halfway.
Last tackle, Jai square. Hold for it, Liam. Wait, mate. Wait.
Last play with Wakeham to the right. Brooks kicking on the left though. Straight down the ground. Tane Milne waiting for the ball, but it went for Mitchell on to Alex Johnston. And he can't break the tackle of Bateman, assisted by Ty.
They've got no problems going to the edges when they're a long way out from the try line. If somehow they could convert that, take that play and put it inside the 20, well, we might be talking about a Tigers try. Again, looked dangerous in that set when they went to the edge.
Now Murray, Walker again, both sides of the field, causing all sorts of grief for the defensive line. But 6-0, a skinny lead so far for South Sydney. Here's Knight.
Last tackle for Nuwa, square.
Good contact made by Bollet, assisted by Hoffenhauer. Here's the kick from Cody Walker out towards the wing of Norfoluma again. Another successful take.
Wait for it, boys. Don't run.
So the only try coming in the 25th minute. Tane Milne, fed by Campbell Graham. There's the Norfoluma take again. No hassles there.
Liam, clear out. Where we are? Square, Jai. Go through.
Been celebrating South Sydney's attack in recent weeks, but their defence needs some praise as well. Only them and Penrith have kept every opponent so far under or to 20 points or fewer. Here's a chance for Bollet, but no one around him. A penalty here to the Tigers.
Again, moving the ball out of their own end, Matty, creating some problems. Certainly got a quick play the ball. And off the back of that, they go back down the middle. Bollet got himself halfway through the South's defence. They get the penalty, but there's promising signs there. Bollet looking for a play, an offload.
Just a high tackle across the face. How significant is that high contact as Thomas Burgess, the man ruled out in the warm-up, looks on. Not a lot of force in that. Bit of force in that tackle though. Lifting Joe off and now way back. Liam Knight. Oh, the big fend from Isaiah Papali'i, away from Ilias, away from Graham, away from Knight. Papali'i, he's had a few moments in this first half. Twal, Alex Twal.
Great footwork there, Alex Twal, to get himself in behind Souths.
Took a diving legs tackle from Ilias to stop him. Now Wakeham, Bateman across the ground, still going. Bateman, Cam Murray, an important tackle as well. Now out of dummy half, Little had the ball knocked free. It was Simpkin. Set restarts. And all of that. So it was touched. 6 again. Brooks for Wakeham. Now Jareem Buller. Toa quickly to Norfoluma. Walker fell off the tackle, but Johnston is there. Host is there. And the Tigers are 5 metres out. Wakeham for Bollet. Fanua crawling his way within 3 or 4 metres. Brooks, Papali'i. This time they do a good job on Isaiah. Ilias and Campbell Graham. Brooks, the kick between the uprights. Back there, Cody Walker. Cool head, just batting it dead. A goal line dropout heading the Tigers' way.
Well, only a minute and a half left, and we have been critical of the West Tigers when they've got themselves in this position on the field, but there was no confusion about that set. It was actually a good set, and the Bunnies were pressed on both sides of the ruck defensively and needed to be at their best to stop the Tigers grabbing a 4-pointer then. Very great defence from South, but impressive from the Tigers as well.
So the short goal line dropout from Latrell Mitchell, really, really high. He's got this one right. And now Papali'i was running out of room. It's still there in the end goal. Damien Cook, well, he'll go touch in goal.
Well, there was a moment there where Papali'i, who had no room down that left touch line, looked like he might have been able to find his way to the try line. Somehow came up with the ball. It was a great kick from Latrell. How high, and landed right on the spot.
And he's got this wrong several times this season.
He has.
That one was perfect.
He has, Matty. Throwing himself over the sideline just because of the angle. And here he goes again, Latrell. Short, low.
Trick play. Low and mid-strength. Now Norfoluma. So the seconds ticking away in this first half. Is this the final play? Brooks out the back, Jareen Buller, pulled down by Campbell Graham. A good defensive effort from Graham. Shuts down the first 40 minutes and shuts down Jareen Buller. The Tigers' danger man finishes a few metres short, and the Tigers are 6 points short of South Sydney. 1 try to nil in the first half. The Rabbitohs 6 lead the Tigers 0. And as a result, asking all sorts of questions. Does that continue in the second 40, which starts now? South Sydney ahead by a converted try, which came in the 25th minute. Tane Milne over Latrell converting from near the sideline. And it's the Bunnies just in front. Arrow with the first run, backed up by Host. Some threatening clouds around the ground, but we've stayed dry and look like remaining so through this second 40 minutes. The conditions, in the eyes of many, favoured South Sydney. Dry afternoon rugby league. Another flat pass from Damien Cook. This time to Michael Cheekham. Just the one converted try to show for it. Here's Walker. Down the ground towards Norfoluma. He was the predominant target for them in the first half and starts likewise in the second. Now, Stafford Toa. He's back beyond his 20-metre line. The Tigers have dropped 8 of their last 11 against Souths, including the last 4 here. But as I mentioned, they were 1-1 head-to-head last year. They're right in this game as we go into the second half. John Bateman.
Hands off now, get square joy.
Simpkin. That's nice and direct from off Hengawe. Final play, so Wakeham goes high end over end, regulation the kick down towards Johnston, and he is met heavily by Bateman and Jareem Buller. Lara, down to you.
Yeah, just the message from West Tigers coach Tim Sheen's happy with what he saw in that first half. Said just one lapse in concentration cost them a try. They're going set for set with the best team in the comp at the moment. They just need to continue that to give themselves every chance.
Thank you, Lara, and great to get the South Sydney message live from Jason Demetri. Great access as he headed from the dressing room back up to his coach's box. Mitchell, Latrell Mitchell, just holding the pass.
Yeah, really nice there from Bateman. Just saw the ribs exposed and Mitchell didn't hesitate.
Like every good crazy edge forward should. Angling in at the ribs. Knight had play 5. It comes for Walker. His bomb down the ground towards Buller. And Jareem. Yet to really see any great chance today. Had a couple of nice touches in the first half. Norfoluma careering into the defence and wearing a couple of shots as a result. Cook and Arrow there. Now Toa. So they were happy to roll their sleeves up. Go set for set in the first half. Now they shift across the ground, but it's a little clunky. They're in trouble near the sideline. You're right, Corey. Buller jumped on the Hail Mary pass, back for Wakeham. Now Alex Twal. Twal gets the legs driving. Now he's held. Simpkin. Wakeham long, quick hands. Tyre onto Norfoluma. And David goes back towards the middle of the grounds. Holds the passes. Murray affects the tackle. Tackle 5. And Brooks makes it an aerial contest, still there on the ground and back to clean up. Ilias does the job. Not a convincing take. And I'll have to punch it out of that southeastern corner. Punch being the operative word. Luke Brooks. How big does he think he is?
Brooks is fearless this afternoon, isn't he? That was him coming off the line to put a shot on Campbell Graham. Ricocheted off him, but he's been in a mood all afternoon, Luke Brooks.
You hear some of the best halfbacks in the competition. They talk about getting into the game. It's the physicality side. And he certainly put his body on the line this afternoon. And for the Tigers, coming into this game, as we see a replay there, he just quite missed Campbell Graham. Coming into this game, Matty, the Tigers second best in the competition for offloads and creating second phase. Only 2 for the game. It just might be their secret weapon to just destabilise the defensive line of the South Sydney Rabbitohs, who look rock solid at the moment. Haven't been asked enough questions.
And you've got to ask them questions.
Yeah.
Second best defensive team in the league, behind Penrith, who did the job defensively last night on the Roosters, and Howe. So you're right when you look at the fact that they're now attacking both sides of the field. They've trimmed their points per game conceded significantly, South Sydney. They are a better team this year than last year, according to the numbers. That pass knocked down by the Tigers. And as a result, it's a fresh set here. Tass making no mistake with the retrieval. Murray, just a settling play to start the set. Cook for Knight.
You see Walker and Mitchell just scheming behind the back of the ruck down this left-hand side.
He waits on the left of the ruck. They go to the right. Knight catch and pass. Now the kick. Ilias, well weighted. Buller is there. He slipped, but the ball is in the field of play. That's okay. But now there are some brave runs to be had. That's a good one. Tommy Talau. He wanted that work.
That is a great run from Tommy Talau. Buller doing a good job just to get the ball back in the field of play. Shift from the Tigers.
Top fending. Cody comes again, assisted by Host. Well, they made relatively light work of that, the Tigers, from their goal line to the 20-metre line in 2 quick plays.
It was just the fact they got a nice wide pass out to Toa, who was able to find his front and generate some play the ball speed, and they just eased out of their own line.
Ball comes free, picked up by Wakeham. Play on the call here from Liam Kennedy. Last play now as Wakeham drives it down this western sideline. Latrell Mitchell happy to just cover it as it trickles into touch.
Where do you want it? Where do you want it?
Tim Machines watching on. You saw earlier in the game Benji Marshall with the headset on, barking the instructions just beside their head coach. Brent Maiden just working that injured shoulder that's keeping him out at the moment.
That was a good set. Yeah, that was a good set from the Tigers off their own try line during Buller. Just getting the ball into the field of play. They finish up on the 10-metre line down the other end.
It might sound strange to say, Corey, but the longer the game goes with South leading only 6-0, the more confident West Tigers should become. Am I right?
Yeah, without doubt. I mean, defensively has certainly been, the big takeaway in the opening 48 minutes of this game. They've stood up to all the tasks, all the shape that South Sydney have thrown at them. Now they get a low float. But it's with the ball, Matty, that they're going to have to come up with something a little bit different.
And of course, that can change in the blink of an eye with South Sydney. Ball in hand, the pass from Cody Walker, almost intercepted by Norfoluma. It touched him, it's a knock on Tigers. South to get the ball back.
Well, I guess he found himself in far enough that he had to make a play at the ball. Yeah, there was still an unmarked man on the outside, Alex Johnston. It was Isaiah Tassie takes that. The Tigers are in trouble. Norfoluma just got himself in the right position, just couldn't pull it in.
Starting to go a little bit lateral there, Cody Walker. The Rabbitohs are so dangerous when they're straight up and down the field, nice and squares. Coruscant lurking the sidelines, about to come back on.
Indigenous round coming next weekend. South Sydney with a huge weekend planned around their Allianz Stadium game against Parramatta. I'd love to carry a 6-game winning streak into that extravaganza next weekend. Now Walker, long, out for Milne. Milne down this eastern sideline. Wrapped up by Tupou. Mitchell for Cook, now Knight. What are they building for here, South Sydney? 24 metres out, Ilias. Runs into Bollet. And he's shut down along with the work from Offahengawe. Cook, Murray. Good tackle, Simpkin, and there's a penalty. High.
There's 12 that just got a little bit high on Cam Murray. Give the opportunity here if they want to take the 2 and take it out with an 8-point lead. Just a little late swinging arm across George Rose.
Cameron shot a goal.
And they're taking the shot for goal.
Brendan, just go through Luke.
From the inside there, low tackle on Cam Murray, and that caused him to drop as Alex Twal came across with a swinging arm, but certainly wouldn't have hit him high if he stayed upright. But that's what you've got to be wary of if you're a defender. The ball runner just dropping quickly, and you're in the wrong position to make a play. So it's going to cost the Tigers 2 points.
Captain Corey, would you have automatically taken the 2 here?
Well, you got to get a feel for what's actually happening out in the middle. And I mean, we're sitting back and we're commentating, and what we're talking about is 2 teams that are just going end for end, set for set, completing high, not too much risk involved to anything. And they've got the opportunity to go 8 points clear, which is obviously 2 tries. So, yeah, I would, Matty. I mean, some games you just got to get through, and as long as you get the win at the end of it, it all counts at the end of the year. It looks that way with South at the moment. They do have the opportunity, or do have the ability, rather, to score a lot of points in quick succession. But a good confidence build-up for the Tigers, the respect that the South Sydney Rabbitohs have shown.
Bit of breathing space for Jason Demetriou, out by beyond a converted try, but a long way to go in this game still before we head to North Queensland. Cowboys, are they back? That was the saying last week as they rediscovered their mojo against the Roosters. Can they back it up against the Dragons, hoping to mark Ben Hunt's 300th game with a victory? The 47th man to 300, and the kickoff by the Tigers finds the sideline.
Luke, it's a scrum. Where do you want
That's
it?
not what you want after taking the kick to go ahead by 8.
Yeah, Brandon Wakeham just kept that one low, but when the ball hit the ground, you thought, well, they're in trouble here, the South Sydney players, because there was no movement. No one was guarding the sideline. A little bit slow, and once the ball hit the ground and bounced the way it did, almost impossible.
They're the little signs that you look for from a coach's perspective. We heard from Jason Demetriou at half-time, just saying that he wanted his team to pick up the tempo. At the moment, you would suggest they're maybe just going through the paces, and that's a sign right there. Great opportunity here for the Tigers.
What can they give us? They've been lost in the red zone a couple of times this game already. They fall into rhythm here as Stafford Toa sets them up.
6 more, slow. Go, no tackles.
Set restart. Toss out to Bateman. His first play anyway, not a great game.
Hands off there, hands off.
Bateman seemed to deliberately tangle Latrell up in his legs. Oh, no, they've made a mess of it. John Bateman receives a grin, a cheeky one, and returns the favour.
Challenge.
We have a captain's challenge. The Tigers are challenging the decision of a knock-on.
Well,
Okay.
Latrell got him into an awkward position, and in his effort to get back to his feet, did he lose the ball? That's what we're going to find out. He got over the top of Latrell here, but Latrell came up from underneath, sort of rolled him onto his head. And
So at this point, John Bateman still has possession. He's now lost it there, and it touched the ground. The challenge is unsuccessful.
All right, boys, it's going to be a scrum.
well, he upended him, and I don't think Bateman knew where he was really, and just lost all focus. The ball, it came out and touched the ground. There's no argument.
Let's go, boys.
Yeah, that's a crucial time. I mean, just their second error for the game, and it comes up with a really good opportunity for the Tigers. Alleviates all the pressure now.
And again, what we spoke about, grabbing your opportunities.
Yeah.
They've been presented with one and didn't take it.
Well, you've got to get your arm around Isaiah, John. Isaiah, you've got to get your arm around Isaiah. Here we go, Dream. That's it, right.
Scrummaging, 101,
Ball
as
in.
taught by Liam
Someone
Kennedy.
break.
Now we're away from that situation, thankfully, as Campbell Graham comes forward, tackled in the opposition 20. Interesting stat, Tigers 19, Souths 14. So they've had their opportunities, haven't they, the Tigers? Neil in danger of being dragged towards the sideline, but he gets out of that okay. Now to Tola.
Alex, let go. Front footy, Joe.
Second half run meters, a commanding advantage to the men in possession, going further ahead with this charge by Arrow. Murray thought about the inside ball, but bang, stopped by Bateman. Oh, he's twisted awkward, didn't
It
it?
certainly did. Scorpion.
Johnson gets the kick in, back towards the middle of the ground. Watch out, Buller, Jareen Buller, Jai Arrow. Aware of the danger, grabs hold with one hand, and then gets there full body eventually.
A little bit of green pasture there for Alex Johnston, who had very quickly get a left foot kick back in field.
Marcus square, hold. Go to.
Half a chance for the Bunnies.
Hands off now, back in this.
Toa. 3 tackles into this set. For Hennaue. Goes through Utoe Kamanu. Now the shift. Buller. He goes on for Talau.
Campbell, hands off.
Well, good meters made by the Tigers, but South Sydney's defence, that sliding defence, just backing away and marking up. Handled it comfortably.
Hold. Release.
Utoe Kamanu stays on one leg.
Nothing late.
Final play, so Wakeham goes high again. Down to Johnson. Alex can't get away from the chasing Bateman. Pinned in his own 10-metre zone. Can the Tigers keep the Rabbitohs down this end? Mitchell, swarming defenders around him.
Let him on. Hold it up. Go to.
Brooks, Papali'i, Utoe Kamanu, and now Milne.
Hold. Release.
Rabbitohs have done well here this year, 3 of 4 at Angkor Stadium. Arrow. Good line in behind the ruck.
He's been busy, Arrow. Also, Totola in this game. Obviously, you've only just joined us. No Burgess ruled out in the warm-up to a back injury.
Buller with Tass zeroing in on his chest. Host down low.
They'd love a penalty here, the Tigers.
David Norfoluma grabs at an ankle. Doesn't seem too serious. A hobble only. Tupou. Back towards his wing in discomfort. David Norfoluma will follow that. And Alex Twal plants the feet.
Release Michael. Wait. Go forward.
Now Clemmer
Last tackle,
up there for another stint. They're 10 metres into South Territory on the last. So Wakeham goes to the air again. The target is Johnston. He catches safely. Had a player flying in over the top of him in Stafford Toa. So in the end, it's a good take from Alex.
Great take. Never easy when a player throws his arms around like Stafford Toa did, just to try and put the catcher off. But Johnston, all his experience there in taking that one.
It's a great counter-attack right there. They went out to the right-hand side. And Campbell got him on the front foot now. They're having another look.
Ilias to Campbell Graham. Graham away. The kick back in field. Wakeham is there. The bounce unkind for Ilias. And the Tigers live to fight another day.
Well, there's that right side again, Corey, and Lockie Ilias just holding up the ball beautifully for Campbell Graham, who has become one of the better hole runners in the game through the opening 11 rounds.
They doubled it up in that set. The first one was a nice quick shift. Campbell Graham got him on the front foot. They doubled up, come back down that side again. And it was only desperation through Wakeham who was able to clean up the kick, otherwise it would have been points again.
He's their leading try scorer, Campbell Graham, 11 so far, and what has been a fantastic season for him. Latrell trailing with 8. And the only try scorer today, Tane Milne, getting his first of the season. Here's Brooks, punching the ball down the ground.
Papali'i in a bit of discomfort and back play. Been attended to by the trainer.
Mitchell fires a bullet pass with the defenders right on top, underneath their nostrils, that ball. Such confidence. Great execution as well.
No, I think if you're playing with Latrell, you've got to be ready for a pass at any stage.
He just owned that pass. It was beautiful. And it worked. And Tavita Totola goes forward as a result now. That's the 40-metre line disappearing behind him.
He's a super middle forward. Tavita Totola does his job each and every week. No fast, rolls the sleeves up, get him on the front foot.
That's why he's a George Pickens medalist. He's a player of the year at South Sydney. And he's cut right into the action. So final play. The Rabbitohs are about 35 out kicking this. Ilias really measured this kick down towards Buller under no pressure. Allowed to jump and catch before the cuddle from Cody on the end of it. This second half, very much a replica of the first. The team's happy to get through their sets. Look at their kicks. The odd shift from South Sydney, mixing it up a little. Toa dragged to ground by Johnston. Bateman, good run, hard, and he's done some damage here. Jed Cartwright straight away was in trouble. And let's hope Jed Cartwright is all right as he lays here on the ground. It was a charging Englishman who did the damage.
He's tried to do everything in this game. Just gets his head in the wrong spot there.
Just the ricochet off Fame Sele into Jed Cartwright. Twisted the body of John Bateman around, so he went into him shoulder first.
That'll be the end of
Jed,
Cartwright.
I think so.
Yeah. Cheekham only just left the field only minutes ago.
Cartwright playing his 10th game of the season, so a regular for South Sydney so far through this campaign. And that's an easy decision, off under HIA protocols. We don't know whether that will be judged Cat 1 or 2, but sent for an assessment showing those symptoms we just witnessed. Lara will be all over that sideline.
David, don't move from that position.
So that South Sydney bench just a little skinnier. Cartwright off HIA. Thompson or Burgess missing the game after that warm-up injury. Ahead 8-0. 20 minutes to play in this one. Now Tass.
Meters again down the right-hand side.
Utoa Kamanu working Milne over. Murray finding Totola. Again, Luke Brooks involved in consecutive tackles there. Now Walker out the back. Here's Latrell. Tass couldn't bounce away from Toa. So the completion again falls to Ilias. His kick out towards Norfoluma. He won't even contest the ball. The bounce out towards Jareem Buller. Thought about going long and doesn't take the risk.
There was an odd moment there between fullback Jareem Buller, the young player playing his 4th game, and the veteran, David Norfoluma. They looked at each other, and I think Buller sort of said, well, it's closer to you. Norfoluma just pulled out of that one. Fortunately for the Tigers, they got the bounce.
The bounce very fortunate for Jareem Buller. Straight towards him at waist height.
There's a lot to like about Jareem Buller, isn't it? Now the Tigers come the right-hand side through Buller.
Here he is. Ball lost. And knocked on by South Sydney, says referee Kennedy.
Tackle playing at the wall, knock on. Where do you want it? In the middle?
So the Tigers will have a midfield scrum, 5 metres their own side of halfway. Where does their first try come from? How does their first try come?
Cody just clipping the ball as he went back on the inside there, David Norfoluma. Yeah, well, it might be a kick, Matt. It might be a kick. And they can put a kick up to try and force another error if they get down that end of the field off the back of this scrum and build some pressure that way.
Is there some trick play through the middle involving Luke Brooks? Inside ball for Jareem Buller, or something to bring the fullback into it? We know he's a talent. We've spotted it in his short NRL career so far.
Need to
Cameron, get your arm
really
around him.
win the play the ball and get some players on the front foot up over the advantage line, which then gives these players time and space.
Word from Lara sideline. Yep, Jed Cartwright cat one, so he won't return this game, and will miss the Indigenous game next weekend with that 11-day stand down. Disappointing for Jed. Set back for South Sydney. Here's Clemmer. Brooks bringing Alex Twal onto it.
And he loved to cross for the Tigers.
Absolutely. That's down that list of options Brandy ran through a moment ago fairly significantly, I would expect.
Yeah, good defence there. Cody Walker up in the face of Brandon Wakeham. Picked his mark. Stark.
Clemmer.
Last tackle, Michael.
So the final play from 15 out. Here's Wakeham. Now Buller. Buller to Stafford Toa. Stafford Toa got rid of one. Gets down low. South Sydney number up. Cody Walker's been left off to the side of all that. Looking uncomfortable, shall I say. So a bit to go through there.
Well, South had the numbers defensively. It was just the strength of Toa. Quick hands there. Tasses there. He just flung him to the side. Cody Walker got involved and pulled out of that. I think one of his own players might have made contact with him pretty hard, but in the end there was 4 South players there to stop Stafford Toa, and they needed 4 there.
So we're well into the final quarter now. Just the 1 try scored this afternoon. Tane Milne back in the 25th minute. Penalty goal after half-time, edging South Sydney ahead 8-0. If you've joined us after a sporting afternoon, a tight contest, a scoreline that might surprise some, despite the fact the Tigers come into this game on the back of consecutive victories. And they're still in this game. Cook tries to scurry away from dummy half. Alex Twal grabs him, along with Utoikamanu. Walker pumps it down the ground. It comes down right on top of the goal line. David Norfoluma is there. Stafford Toa was looking to be set free. The pass didn't come.
Well, good metres from David Norfoluma. Had that chase going backwards, but terrific kick from Cody Walker. Yeah. Right on the try line, that one landed.
If the Rabbitohs win this, they go top of the table on the live ladder. If the Tigers can conjure a comeback, they'll claw their way off the bottom. Twal.
It just might be Damien Cook, you know, had his run just there before his first run of the game. It just might be his speed out of dummy half with some fatigue starting to set in with these middle players. Just might be the difference.
Wakeham Finding Bateman, and he sees plenty of room. Bateman gets the pass away despite Cody Walker's presence. It is the last, that's right. Stafford, he passes for Jareem Buller. Now, Brooks through the middle. The kick was back on the inside. He was looking for Brandon Wakeham, who couldn't get there in time. South Sydney scamper back and come away with it.
Well, out of a situation that looked disastrous there for the West Tigers, they almost created something, and it was Luke Brooks. He looked to his right, he had no support with him. He knew that there was someone back on the inside. The speed of Brooks gets him in behind South's defence here. Kick off the outside of the foot. That was Api Coruscant, but Lockie Ilias was also there just to clean things up and deny the Tigers.
See a stoppage in play here. They're telling Joy Arrow to get off the field. There's a HIA call. He's a bit perplexed.
So Jed Cartwright out of the game under HIA protocols. Now Joy Arrow follows.
It's obviously a call that's been made through independent doctors. Jacob Host comes back onto the field.
So the two-man bench now for South Sydney is Liam Knight, who's seen game time, and Blake Taff, called in late, who hasn't seen game time, having played the entire New South Wales Cup contest before this one.
I'd love to have seen Brooks just have a little crack himself there and pin the ears back towards the line.
Now the kick, a wobbly torpedo down for Buller. Where had Jareem gone after passing for Luke Brooks? Was he an option? Was he trailing through? The kick was meant for Coruscant. It didn't find the mark. And there was an opportunity gone for the Tigers.
13 minutes to go in this game, and Buller's really going after it. It's his 15th run up over 120-odd run meters, really trying to inspire his team in just his 4th game in the NRL.
The pass through Brooks, Buller puts it down, picked up by Campbell Graham, play on, held by an ankle. Now he skips through that tackle. Campbell Graham downed by Buller.
Well,
Ilias.
they're on the ropes here, the Tigers. South need to pull the trigger.
Latrell Mitchell out in this extended back line, barking orders, setting something up here. They fan out to the left. They come that way now. Murray for Cody Walker. Here's Latrell Mitchell. Mitchell attracting 4 defenders. Taslong. Walker just hands it off. And Hame Sele back out there. Settles it down with tackle 4. Murray, Ilias, shapes the kick, batted on, pushed on beautifully. Cody Walker
Excellent.
Found his outside man in Tane Milne, but the sliding defence did the job. Was that Jareem Buller again?
Superb desperation out on that left-hand side for the Tigers. Wonderful hands from Walker. Ilias feigned to kick the ball, which just gave time and space. And just have a look at there, Kapoa just onto the field and was able to get across in desperation for his team in what could be a huge play.
Asu Kapoa off the bench, big play defensively. Could that inspire his men? But they're at the wrong end of the field here. Clemmer, how far can he take them forward? Big David today. That run takes him up towards 140 run metres now. Ikamanu had the defence waiting for him. Hasn't quite had the same go forward as his other starting prop. Alex Twal.
Well, Alex Twal looks the most dangerous of the Tigers around the ruck. Just that acceleration that he's got, Appy dancing around looking for someone to give the ball to.
He's had 11 runs off the bench for more than 110 run metres, Alex. And they arrive at tackle 5, still 40 metres from the target. Here's Brooks chipping, chasing the bounce. A good one for Latrell Mitchell. Get out of my road, Isaiah Papali'i. Look at that right arm fend. Now it opens up for Isaiah Tass. Brutality from South Sydney's beast at the back.
Well, Brooks trying a little chip over the top, which was handled beautifully there by Latrell Mitchell, who must have been beaten half a dozen Tigers players to get his side out of trouble. Down the short side, Brooks, chip over the top, runs into the back of one of South's players. I think it was Hame Sele. Latrell Mitchell hitting, spinning, fending, stepping.
Here they are, other end of the ground.
Take him back.
It is like a heavyweight in the ring. With some would-be title holder hanging in there. Is there a knockout blow from South Sydney? How long do the Tigers stay in this? They just need a converted try to set up the grandstand finish. Do they get that chance? Cody Walker, long for Tane Milne. Milne just a metre short.
Well, Tane Milne had Campbell Graham unmarked inside of him, the form player, form centre of the competition, 11 tries to his name. And he opted against going inside, which could have been the winning play for South Sydney. And again, the Tigers, they just hold on.
The Tigers actually have more run meters than South Sydney in this game, but it just seems like when they need to get forward, they struggle to do so.
Well, it's exactly what's happening. Is Harper Coruscant starting to look out a dummy half. Wakeham.
Here's a shift. Bateman. Now he passes. Stafford Toa hits a hole, passes the ball straight to South Sydney's Hame Sele, who couldn't believe his luck. He was trailing in defence, there to make a tackle if required, and next thing, the ball was on his chest.
It was great play from John Bateman, who dragged in a number of South Sydney defenders and then turned Toa back on the inside. The penalty goal has created scoreboard pressure because they need more than one try. They're going to have to score twice, and although 8 minutes seems like a lifetime, and it has been in some games, the Tigers want to make something count very soon.
South Sydney 8 minutes away from the longest winning streak by any team this season. Hunting 6 in a row here. Ilias out for Campbell Graham. Graham straightens, looks to offload, does now. Must score surely, they do. Latrell Mitchell out for Tane Milne. He gets his second. That should be it. The Rabbitohs stay on their feet, keep passing the ball. The big guns handle, and Milne finishes.
Well, when all else fails, go to your #1 player this season, that being Campbell Graham. Throw Latrell Mitchell into it as well. Have troubled the left-hand defence of the Tigers all afternoon. Just bang off the right foot, splits the defenders. Nice little offload to Latrell. He sums it up beautifully. Out to Tane Milne, comes up with a double. What a season Campbell Graham is having. The man beside me has a big smile on his face with the Origin Arena only a couple of weeks away, Matty.
That is the beauty of Campbell Graham this year. He's got an uncanny knack of running in between defenders and coming out the other side, even at the other end of the field, bringing the ball out of trouble. Campbell Graham seems like a player that's very hard to put a shot on because he's just got that bit of footwork that gets him in between the defenders, and that's exactly what he did there. Kapoa and Brooks. Brooks ended up on the ground, who has defensively been outstanding today, Brooks, but just caught low on that one. And Campbell Graham, strong, gets through the tackle and is able to pass it to Latrell, who gets it out to Milne. And the Tigers have just been hanging on. They had a chance to get themselves out of trouble. They did with the run from Bateman inside to Toa. But then the next pass found a South Sydney player, and that was Hame Sele. And off the back of that inability to get themselves out of their own end on this occasion, Souths go to 12, possibly 14.
Latrell from the sideline. He owns the kick. He delivers another 2 points. Latrell invites his fans to wear a grin as big as his. But Tane Milne, Lara Pitt, what a game from him. The performance from South Sydney, well, it should be enough to win from here.
Yeah, and Silky moves from that man there, the Rabbitohs fullback, absolute superstar. I can tell you that he is mic'd up, gentlemen, for this game, and you'll be able to hear it and see it every moment of this game from Latrell Mitchell and the Rabbitohs next weekend during Indigenous round.
Fantastic. That will be worth the wait. We saw Latrell Mitchell mic'd up at training as part of your pre-game show. I wonder what it's like in-game. The short restart here, taken by who else? Campbell Graham, Corey Parker.
Yeah, it's terrific insight from what we're able to do here at Fox League to have Latrell Mitchell mic'd up throughout this game. From what he sees from the fullback's role, he enjoys the game. He's one of the true performers that we have. He puts bums on seats and he's enjoying himself at the moment. That'll be worth the watch.
I liked hearing from Jason Demetriou at half-time, a short, sharp description of what he told his team to do in the second half. You know what you're looking for. You know what the coach will be thinking of his team as they go through, and they nearly go through there. Jacob Host pulled down. Is there another celebration for South Sydney here? Murray. Do they head back to Milne? He's got the hot hand. Both tries today scored by him. Here's a hot hand. It's a hot hand. It's a long hand. And it's a winning hand. Latrell Mitchell ices the results. He's back to his feet. He's happy with that. And there is another South Sydney victory secured, 6 in a row.
And the good teams are able to pile on points just like that. I mean, it's been so close for so long, and just in the blink of an eye, they go back-to-back tries, and all of a sudden 18 points, what could be 20 points to nil with 4.5 minutes remaining. Latrell Mitchell just assesses it up beautifully. Big man on small men, Wakeham too low. You can't do that on Latrell. Wonderful left-hand carry. And the coach likes that one. We'll hear that through the mic as well.
Yeah, well, Latrell is dangerous all over the field. There's nowhere he's more dangerous than close to the try line. You give the ball to Latrell close to a try line, he's almost impossible to stop with his size, speed, footwork. Just a huge man that takes a hell of a lot of stopping.
I know that.
Big body.
Crash ball to Latrell. It's a great play close to the try line.
For a lot of spectators who haven't been fortunate enough to see somebody like Latrell up close and personal, he is an imposing figure. He's an enormous man. Stands over 190 centimetres, up around 108 kilos, but is strong and can move left hand, right hand. So difficult and so powerful close to the line as he adds the extras, and all of a sudden, Matty, 20 points to nil.
I mentioned his hot hand, a good foot today as well. Hasn't missed one, Latrell. By his own admission, he calls it Trelevision. Well, you can hear him on Trelevision next weekend as part of Indigenous round. That will sound good through the Fox Sports microphones, Brandy.
It'll sound great because we got a touch of it in the pre-game with what he did at training. Latrell, he's a born performer. He loves it. Like, he loves it. He'll be fantastic. What you hear through this game will be amazing.
So he has the 6 tackle busts. That's a team high for South Sydney. I'll just duck back to Tane Milne after this restart. They've gone short again and again. Same result. Campbell Graham, great leap, good take. Well may they applaud on the bench. That's a touch of class again from Campbell Graham. But Tane Milne, man, outside him, 24 carries, 220 run metres, 5 tackle busts, 4 line breaks, a try-double, of course. He's had a game.
Well, the back 5 of all the big teams, and
challenge.
after this, as we go to a captain's challenge, after this performance from South, it'll take them to #1 in the competition. Their back 5 do such a big job of pulling them out. That's just a loose carry there from Campbell Graham.
John Bateman is just making a tackle,
just making a
and
tackle.
the ball is lost forward by Campbell Graham. The
And
challenge is
Tane Milne,
unsuccessful.
to answer your question, Matty, has been superb in that area. Rolls his sleeves up coming out of his own end. Has had his troubles under the high ball at different stages.
Well, the player he replaced, Isaac Thompson, who started the season on the wing for them, scored one of the best match-winning tries I've seen in New South Wales Cup this afternoon. So whether it's been Thompson or Milne, they've had someone fill that right wing spot very well.
You're right. Isaac Tuitupo Thompson, if you've missed it, find a way to watch it. He set sail from about 5 metres out, transferred the ball right to left hand, and then grounded it despite contact from a defender. Corey Parker, it was rugby league. It was a rugby league beauty in the New South Wales Cup. I was going to use a word there that I can't, but it was great. Across the ground, are there some points here for the Tigers? They've scored more points against South Sydney than any other opponent, but there's none for them today so far. Buller, Toa lost his feet. It's been a weekend where the best defensive teams in the league apply the clamps. Penrith to the Roosters, South Sydney to the Tigers. Wakeham kicking across the ground. On the ground, it's picked up. And you've got concerns here for staff at Toa, Corey, as we stick with Tane Milne.
He just went to go off the right foot and he collapsed under him. He's hobbling back into position now. That's a good sign. But normally when an action like that happens, we fear the worst. There's Toa still in all sorts, but the penalty now given to South. He's always in the thick of it, Tane Milne, when it comes to a little melee.
The Clavelli Crocodiles, they tend to love a bit of argy-bargy.
Bit snappy.
Yeah. Victor Radley's a Clavelli Crocodile, if I'm not mistaken. Straight after this one, North Queensland awaits Cowboys, Dragons. Tane Milne's fired up about the rest of Super Saturday. And then a beauty tonight, intriguing. Raiders against the Eels. Jake Arthur playing in the halves. No Mitch Moses, of course, and Josh Hodgson against his former team for the first time. The Raiders aiming for 5 straight with a bye in between.
Huge game up in the north as Jason Demetriou makes his way back down. Up in the north, Ben Hunt in game number 300. What an accolade that is. Had a lot to do with Ben Hunt when he first come into first grade. He's a terrific player.
Well said, Corey. Is Cody Walker kicks the bounce. Oh, Alex Johnston had a few goes at it. It was there, it was there, it was still there, and then it was gone. Rarely a game goes by where this man doesn't light up at Core Stadium.
Well, that would have been an incredible take if he got that on the bounce. He just couldn't get to it on the full, Alex Johnston. He gets there on the full, he scores the try. Had to wait for the bounce, and it was unkind.
The Tigers will finish with the ball, but they will finish without any points, barring a miracle. They've been shut down by the power of South Sydney. A final shift here for Jareen Buller. Now Tupou. Look who gets him. Look who shuts it down. Campbell Graham as full-time sounds in the background. The Bunnies have gone 6 in a row. South Sydney, the pride of the league, are also top of the league. They beat West Tigers with a shutout, 20 points to 0.